We're joined by author Vinita Dubey Pande. Thanks for joining us today.
You're welcome.
You know,
nice to be here.
Offline we were talking about spirituality.
That's right.
And the need to be spiritual, and I told you, I said, I'm really not a spiritual person. So I thought, okay, the first thing to do is let me hold your book and let me see if I can
get the vibrations.
Get the vibes from this whole thing. So, you know, let's talk about this, Eternal Way to Bliss. What is this all about? Let me hold this up for our viewers. Tell me about this whole thing.
So it's actually my own personal journey.
Okay.
So usually books are either written by spiritual masters,
okay.
Or you'd see professors or scholars write it. But this is from a seeker's perspective.
Wow, okay.
So
and that's you,
that's
the seeker.
me.
Okay, all right.
So usually, like I said, it's usually from spiritual masters or scholars. But very rarely do we have, seekers or students actually talk about their journey. Mm-hmm. So this is essentially what it is. Now the name, Eternal Way to Bliss, I'd gone through several titles, but I came to this because eternal in Sanskrit would be Sanatan,
okay.
right? And then the way here I actually got from another title called the Way of the Peaceful Warrior, I'm not sure. But so the word there actually stands for yoga, which is really a path, right? And then bliss I chose here because the nature of the soul is described in 3 words. It's Sat, Chit, and Anand.
Sat, Chit, and Anand.
Yes,
okay.
Sat is truth.
Okay.
Chit is consciousness, and Anand is bliss.
Okay.
So a little bit more technical. So usually when we look at objects, they all are, they all exist, correct? And animals have both existence and consciousness.
Okay.
Right?
And we're animals.
We're animals, but we're the most evolved animals who can actually feel bliss.
Okay.
So whereas objects can have existence, animals can have existence and consciousness, it's only humans that can actually experience bliss.
Let me ask you this. This is a good one because people always wonder, what does it take to, and I'm trying to avoid the content of the book as much as talking about the process too, because I'd really like people to buy the book too.
Okay.
But I mean, did you go through any transformations when you started? I mean, did you go through frustrations? What was this like? Because everybody always talks about the finished product. Well,
yes.
Here's my book, and this
That's
is what's
right.
in it. But what about the process? What did you go through?
So, it's very interesting. When I chose the topic and when I started writing,
Yep.
It's in a spiritual way, all the topics that I was writing about, they were actually happening in my life.
Oh, wow.
So for me, it was like a personal journey as I was writing about the book. It's the same thing with my second book, which is on devotion. And that subject is actually closer to my heart than this one. So this one is more based on the Gita.
Okay.
It's got exactly the same flow as the Gita. It starts with the first chapter is on venting, which is grief.
Oh.
Okay, so at that time I was really questioning life and I was really going through a very tough time in my life.
Okay.
So I wrote the chapter on venting.
Okay.
And then I started finding some answers. I was attending Chinmaya Mission.
Okay.
I was attending lectures on the Gita. And of course, my guru, Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, is a big inspiration behind this. So his knowledge started flowing through.
Okay.
And as I was going through all the chapters, I realized that the flow is exactly actually like the Gita.
Wow, it's amazing.
So
that's your influence then?
Yeah,
definitely.
it is, definitely.
Major influence.
Yes.
Going forward, second book, where are you going? You said that this kind of lent itself to the next book, and that one's closer to your heart. What's that all about, briefly?
Yeah, so it's very interesting. I actually was, last year I was at the temple in Livermore,
Okay.
the Venkateshwara temple.
Okay.
And I'm not a devotee, and actually my husband is more of a devotee.
Okay.
So I was in the shrine, and it may seem a little unbelievable, but I felt like I got a message that, write your second book on devotion.
Oh, wow.
And I said, what a lame topic. I mean, who's gonna read on devotion? Because people are talking about practical applications of spirituality. And I already had a synopsis, I had everything going for my second book, and suddenly this is like out in left field, right on devotion.
Okay.
And I'm thinking to myself, why would I write on devotion? I'm walking out of the shrine and out of the temple thinking, why would I write on devotion? I mean, the message was so clear.
Right.
Right? So, and then events started happening in my life that it became very apparent.
That this is where you're going.
That's exactly what I need
It's
to write.
amazing.
But see, since childhood, I've been a Krishna devotee.
Okay. So this.
So it
So
was
it's
like.
sort of kind of, this is how you got into it. Well, tell us, where do we find the book? How do we get it?
So this is available worldwide.
Okay.
It's available on Amazon.
Okay.
And so it's.
Are you
can
on
be done-
Facebook as well?
I'm on Facebook.
What are you listed as? Is that under your author, the
Yes,
book, or you're
yes.
listed under, Vinita Pande? How are you listed on Facebook?
No, it's Vinita Dubey Pande.
Okay, so they can find you on Facebook, they can find you on Amazon.
Yes.
And then here locally, do you also have your own website as well where they can come to something, or?
Yeah, it's just vinitapande.com.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Well, we would love to follow up with you at some point on this to see
Yeah,
how things
definitely.
are going.
Sure.
And we wish you all the best with this book. I mean, this is great. And from the seeker's position, I'll remember that, because that's me.
Definitely.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you for joining us.